artists, here is Miss Dolores. When we talk about painting, most of us think about paint, watercolor, tempera, acrylic, and brushes, right? However, there are many ways you can paint, and brushes are not the only tool artists use when they paint. In fact, you can create very interesting effects by using other things, and some of those things are not even art tools. Take a look. I will create a spray effect by brushing a comb with an old toothbrush. First, I get the paint on my toothbrush. This is tempera paint. When you spray paint like this, remember that you are gonna get paint everywhere, so make sure you protect the areas that you don't want to get paint. Another common technique is to gently tap the brush like this. The drops are a little bigger and uneven. It's more difficult to control. Using a scraper to spread the paint. I put a little bit of paint on the paper and I slide the scraper, spreading the paint. This scraper is a kitchen tool. Whatever you use has to have a straight, hard edge. You can use an ice cream spoon like this one, or even a cardboard. Oh, nice texture. Be gentle and try to use a thick paper. If you go too hard, the paper may rip. I already applied the tempera paint on the paper. Now I gently scratch the surface. This is a kind of comb. You can use a plastic fork. This one works really well. There are paint tools like this one. The ice cream spoon also works for this. In this case, you need an object with a pointy end. Or what many artists do, you can use the other side of a brush. It is better to use a paper that has a shiny surface. It will be less absorbent and the paint will not penetrate the paper. Blowing with a straw. This effect works with watercolor. I add drops of paint to the paper with the brush and I use a straw to blow the paint. It takes some practice to figure out how close to get to the paper, the angle of the straw that works better, how much air to blow. Turn the paper if you need to. Look at this, I love it. It looks like a very special creature, maybe an insect. Using plastic wrap or a grocery plastic bag. Again, I apply watercolor paint to the paper with a brush. And now, while the paint is still wet, I carefully place the plastic wrap and move it with my fingers slowly. You can see already the texture. I can also use a piece of a grocery plastic bag. And then you have to keep the plastic until the paper gets dry. Actually, I recommend to wait a day, like I did here. Wow, very nice. Salt, a very popular effect to use with watercolor. Again, I apply watercolor to the paper with a brush. And while the paint is still wet, I drop salt. This is coarse salt. I like it better, but fine salt works too. I noticed that black and dark colors react particularly well to the salt. Once you put the salt, don't touch the paper, wait again. I recommend at least 1 day. Look the beautiful texture. Fun, isn't it? And these are few of the things you can do without brushes. Maybe you can come up with your own techniques, your own tools. Experiment. And remember, 1, 2, 3, I am an artist.